Through Dr. Dana Carson's educational pilgrimage, he received his call to preach, and that happened one night as he was headed to the club. While driving, he realized he was being followed. He changed lanes, sped up, but couldn't shake the car. Once arriving at the stoplight, he looked in the rearview mirror, didn't see a person driving the car, and became deathly afraid. That's when my dad heard the Lord say, "This time, if you don't give your life to me, you are going to hell. That's your future." Well, my dad gave his life that very night and went into ministry from there. And at this time, knowing the Bible was the most important thing, and that's when my dad heard God tell him to go to Oral Roberts University. But you see, there was a small problem with going to ORU. Other than the fact that he had never heard of the university a day before in his life, he didn't exactly have any idea about what to do either. But one day, God woke him up at 6 in the morning and told him to turn on the television. And that's when he learned about the upcoming college weekend at Oral Roberts University and then started the application process. There was just one more small problem. Dr. Carson had defaulted on a student loan in graduate school. He went to East Texas State University, where he received his master's and spoke to the registrar in person. Through the providential hand of God, the registrar sent the transcripts, and now Dr. Carson was in seminary. However, halfway through the experience at ORU, my dad was summoned to come back home due to family reasons and the stability of the church that he had planted in Austin, Texas, Praise Tabernacle. So now, back in Austin, my dad finished his seminary at Austin Presbyterian Theological Seminary. God told my dad that he knew theology, but he didn't know church. And shortly after that, Dr. Carson was headed to Boston University. BU was the place where the late and great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did his doctoral work. My father was often compared to the late Dr. King by professors and administrators who knew Dr. King. My dad told me one day in a class that he was taking a position that made the white students a little uncomfortable, and my dad told them it was due to their racism, and it became an open debate that culminated with his professor interjecting that Dana is correct in his assessment, and then proceeded to say that my dad actually reminded him of the young Martin that they taught. It was clear that Dr. Carson had a great call, but he was headed for a challenging world that was racially brutal. However, Dr. Carson was now a scholar in theological studies with an emphasis in church growth, ready to fulfill his vow to God, the church, and church leaders. Dr. Carson's educational experiences in theology helped to shape him into the man he is today. And if you'd like to know more about his story, be sure to get your copy of How to Overcome, a series about overcoming life's obstacles. Well, that's all the time we have for today. But be sure to join me back here tomorrow as we go even deeper behind the man. Also, be sure to like, share, and repost this mini-series every single day. And I'll see you back here tomorrow.